again, we've got a very simple kind of needs analysis when it comes to looking at athletes. The first thing we'll always do is look at strength level. Do they have a, should we say, a sufficient level of strength? If they haven't, won't worry about power training at all. Go straight into developing their strength. If they have, that's where they come into this strength and power diagnostics, where we do a range of tests to try and figure out what the best method is to use, or what's the best variable within that kind of strength and power continuum to look at, whether it's lower body power, whether it's reactivity, whatever the variable could be. And we try and use this battery of tests to identify where the, I wouldn't say weaknesses, but where we're going to get the best development.
Okay, so are you taking strength based off the kind of raw numbers of force in isometric terms?
Not always. Yeah, okay. Usually yes.
What else are you adding?
You can use things like your back 3RM back squats and your deadlift, whatever traditional lifts that sport would use. If they've got really good historical data, we can look at that as well.
So in terms of coaching, so being a coach, a lot of times coaches tell us we rather do not want to engage too much with parents because we are afraid then they're becoming over-involved and we can't live up to that anymore. So what we're telling coaches though is if you are being straight up front in the beginning of the season about what your expectations are, about maybe what your modes of communication are, what your boundaries are, where you see opportunities for involvement of parents, then this actually prevents parents of being, too involved, of being there every single time after practice, having the need for a conversation, for example. So it takes off a lot of stress and pressure actually on coaches.
I'd say play is a human need.
Yeah, okay.
Play has nourished us from childhood, and should still nourish us into adulthood. And play gives us those opportunities to socialize, to learn, to be creative, to innovate, and to find a space where we are free from structure. I mean, that's kind of off the top of my head, really, I suppose, which is, and really heartfelt. I generally mean it. I've been lucky enough to have my greatest teacher, who's now 14 years old, who, when she was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way through, taught me a lot. My daughter taught me a lot about life.
If you're a competitive athlete, this is a good place to start. If you're recreational, and maybe try the pyramidal. And if it doesn't work for you, try something else.
Yeah, definitely. I would 100% agree. It's right. We're looking at specific interventions here, and there's some evidence now that, and I would certainly still say it's very strong evidence here. It's the best that we have, I think, based on the data set. It's a good place to start. And I'll almost even take a big step back, especially if you're a recreational athlete, is just try to get in some consistency and try to recover.